Alrighty guys, so we're now going to spend the next 30 minutes and actually focusing now on exam and study skills and getting you ready for the year ahead. So like I said, my aim today was not to bombard you with so much content so that you're thinking, why am I even doing biology next year? That was not the aim. The aim was to actually introduce you to some of these really interesting concepts, because you really do get to see, like, it's a lot of fun actually when you sort of start to learn how, how is your DNA made, like how it's so cool. So it's actually really really cool, and you get to like sort of move. And this module, you would have seen that it sort of moves up. We start at a molecular level, and then we go to like individual level, and then we look at a population level. How can we actually implement this data? So it's actually pretty fun. All of the way in which this module builds up. So now I want us to spend some time talking about, like setting yourself up for success this term, to not be overwhelmed by it, and I'm sure you guys will absolutely smash it out. So let's get started. Now, types of study. Firstly, obviously you are facing the syllabus for the first time. You've just sort of looked at it, you try to understand it. So the first time around, the first uh, couple of strategies would be to make notes, right? Get your notes together. Trying, look, they are really good because that way you have the information there and you can use those notes in any way. You can use them to study, you can use them to make your own questions, you can use them to test yourself. So they're a great place to start off with. And you look, try out handwritten notes, because it gets you used to the handwriting practice, and makes you feel comfortable with that, because you will be doing a lot of handwriting this year. But if it's easy for you to type them up, that's okay too, as long as you do lots of handwriting practice through practice questions and stuff. That's totally fine. Now, make notes as you go. That's definitely, I recommend that, because don't leave it until the end. It does pile up. So make them as you go. Make them at the end of the topic so that it's summarized. Now, good revision activity. You can also use making notes as a good revision activity, and use it to produce, and obviously it's like, helps you have those revision resources there, so that when it's time to actually start revising, you're not like spending time making notes. Infographics are a great way to go. We use lots of infographics here at Shoot Smart. Here there's an example of the one we use for year 11 prelim content, so we love using infographics here, so definitely recommend that. So it's really important that you are focused on essentially setting yourself up with those notes, with that initial set of structure for yourself, so that you can then actually spend time on practice tests. Now, practice tests are the most important method. My key tip would be that don't leave it until a couple of weeks before the trial to start doing practice questions. Do one every week and you'll be fine. You don't have to do the whole exam. Just do one practice question. Start off in this first week. Maybe the content that we've covered today, we've actually covered the first dot point in its full depth almost. Definitely the last dot points. If you wanted, have a look at I would recommend a really good resource for next year is if you search up NESA additional papers, additional questions, sample questions. Just search up NESA additional questions biology. So additional, and I won't write the whole thing out because might be able to squeeze it in. Just search up NESA additional biology questions, and you will get an 80-page document published by NESA that actually goes through that has like a range of multiple choice and short answer and long answer question for every inquiry question in the syllabus. It is amazing. So you know what, pull that up and do the first multiple choice. It's gonna be easy. We've gone through the content. I remember what the first question is, so we've gone through the content. You should be able to answer it. That's it. One practice question per week, and then as you sort of start to go through the term, make that two. Make it a multiple choice, or maybe 3 multiple choice questions and a short answer question. And sorry about that. Now, and if you do that, it really really helps. It really helps. Alrighty, so practice tests really important, and then as you get closer to the exams, doing more of them. So use exam conditions, but you don't have to every time. At the beginning, don't worry about exam conditions, just focus on answering the question. um okay, now mark your work. Really important. Mark your work, give yourself that feedback, take note of the marking criteria, and then after you've done that, you can try making up your own questions and your own marking criteria, and that is a great resource. Now, and that is a great resource that you can use to actually, think like a marker. Really good. So think like a marker. Okay. All right. I don't know what it is this morning. Please excuse me. But it's a great resource. It will help you think like a marker, and it will help you plan your responses as well. And that's something we actually, again, we do here at Toot Smart. In my bio class, for example, we do like exam lessons, and we go through the questions together, and I would sometimes ask my students to, instead of actually giving me the answer, give me how they would mark the question. If it's a 5 mark question, what would you give marks for? And that teaches you to actually remember the different parts. So, okay, I'm going to give a mark for definition. I'm going to give 2 marks for actually discussing this content specific ideas, or 3 marks for that, and then I'm going to give 1 mark for example, or 1 mark for structure if it's a longer response. So it's a really good way to study for bio. Other study methods that you can use, flashcards are really good. You can use online ones with Quizlets, or you can get your family or friends to help you out and make flashcards. You can make and print posters, place them around the house. There are apps with bio quizzes, and you can on YouTube videos. Make sure that today, after this lecture finishes, or this week sometime, you watch those YouTube videos on mitosis, meiosis, and translation and transcription, and that will set you up for this term. I'm not even joking. It will set you up. If you walk into that if you walk into your bio class in 2 weeks' time and you know this basic stuff, it would make your life so much easier. So much easier. Instead of like learning the content for the first time in week 4 or 5, use that time as a revision and to build up on the basic stuff you already know. So make sure you do watch those videos. They're really good because they're so good visually. Those visuals would stick with you. Um, we also have our very own 8 notes flashcards that you can use. Like, we've obviously got our books as well, but we also have really good biology flashcards on our website as well if you want to check it out. Really good. There's like 80 odd cards, and they cover every part of the syllabus and skills as well, so definitely recommend checking that out. Study with friends is also another great way to study. Now, if you are distracted very easily, might not recommend that as much. It might not recommend it as much, but it's if it works for you, absolutely go ahead. You can quiz each other. You can take turns making or taking Kahoots. You can study a topic each, then teach each other. Now, that brings me to one of the key points. This year, from the very beginning, if you are someone who likes active studying, like, you can't just like learn from taking notes, or like, if actually teaching stuff to others work for you, do it. It's a really good way to study. So like, pretend that you're teaching someone else, and like actually try and teach someone else and take time to study. Yep, so study a topic each, then teach each other, go to public library or park together to study, get lunch. That one, again, if you get distracted easily, especially in a park, that one depends. If you guys can focus, absolutely. If you can't, just go for lunch. Generally, don't worry about the study bit. And it doesn't have to be boring. Study doesn't have to be boring. Resources, we have lots of resources. So you can find practice tests online, past paper questions, really good. Bio Olympiad papers, hscsearch.com. 8 notes practice question books. We've got basically 2 topic tests for each part of the syllabus. It's really good. And again, I say that because I've used it. So you can find our 8 notes practice question book, and you can also access that on 8 notes plus as well. And Toot Smart. So we obviously offer classes, and I teach Cheat Smart Biology. So if you are looking for the extra help, I'd love to see you in my classes. We also have our own textbooks and websites. So Ada Notes Forum, you can also, there are lots of other amazing websites out there as well with lots of resources. So check them out. You know, use as many resources as you get. YouTube, Crash Course and Amoeba Sisters, really good. Apps, Free Rise, Khan Academy is really good. Obviously for the topic content that really like they go into a lot of depth, which is really nice. AP Biology Practice Test Prep and high school biology quizzes, they cost. But if you want to have the app, you know, it's up to you. Seminars, bunch of paid lectures, seminars like in Matrix. We have our ATA Notes lectures every holiday. So every holiday period we'll have a lectures, check it out, and you can also access past lectures as well, and it's obviously free so that everyone can have access to it. And there are also seminars in Western Sydney University as well, I think, for free as well if you want to check that out. And I think Sydney Uni also does some resources and some sessions, so you can also check that out. Okay, study tips. Study tips. Now, this next year, that you have a lot of time now to actually sort of figure out how you best study, what works for you best. You know, when it comes to study. So, key is study smarter, not harder. So I would always recommend active studying, like over just simply like rewriting your notes or something, or just reading over your notes. I would recommend always doing active study, pretend you're teaching others. That one worked really, really well for me. So that's, you know, personal tip there. So Pomodoro is a really good technique. So it's a study technique used to increase productivity. Choose a task that you want to get done, set a 25-minute timer, work on it until the Pomodoro rings, take a short break, and do that for 4 Pomodoros, and then take a longer break. Great timers out there. You can use Tomato Timer. You can use YouTube, and on YouTube you can look and, you know, let's study with me with music. You can look at ASMR cats and so much other stuff that you want to have a look at. Yeah, I think one app that really worked for me was Forest. So that's where, you know, it's like it does not let you touch your phone or your computer while you're studying. So you can also check that out. When it comes to noise, you know, consider what works for you. Does studying with music actually work, or is that distracting? Create a playlist. You can do that. You can watch study videos, mix and match, or if you like to study in a quiet environment, study in a quiet environment. Make that time out for yourself. You know, I've got 2 younger siblings who are loud. Those girls are loud. Alright, so for me, usually when they're off at school, because I'm at uni, so, or when I'm working from home, or at uni in the library, like that's my place to study quietly. Or sometimes just pop on my headphones when it's like I know I don't quite need to like revise stuff or something. I just have to do stuff and write, so I can like put on headphones. But look, it depends. Find out what works for you. Study environment, change your study area every now and then, change the location of your desk. You can also try and go ahead and, you know, go to the library or the park. Again, park, I don't know if parks really work. I wouldn't quite say so personally, because I would get distracted if people came and like started playing or something. Yeah, I'd be distracted. So that's, again, personal. Libraries that I reckon better. You can use your backyard if you want to sit in the sun in the backyard. Absolutely go for it. But again, I don't know, like I feel sleepy when I sit in the sun for too long. So if that's you, I start feeling sleepy after like 10 minutes. Maybe not. But see what works best for you. Now make it fun. Get cute stationery. You know, give yourself that incentive. Integrate your interests with your notes. Study with friends. Use rewards. And finally, mix up your study method. It doesn't have to be long and boring. You can mix it up. My tips. So I try to do around 4 to 5 hours every afternoon. Tried is the key word. So did around 4 to 5 hours, but definitely when there was like, you know, new homework and assignments and assessments, it was definitely harder to do. Right. So that's okay. So that like when that happened, I'd cut it down a bit. Weekends a bit longer. So but definitely have off days. Please start studying early for bio. Lots of content to start early. Stay on top of your notes. Plan. Make sure you take breaks, and remember, you can still do stuff, alrighty? So you can still do stuff. Now, I forgot to change that. So that's from one of the other tutors there. Key, like, what in terms of whether or not they, the fact that they played hockey and soccer. Oh, I don't play sport. No, yeah, I'm not a sports person. No, I read a lot, so that was my thing. But I definitely still, went out in the sun sometimes. Sometimes being the key word. I'm such a homebody. I just read at home, stayed at home. So I can't. So that's why I was like, I've got to take that out. So no, actually, I did not play hockey and soccer. I would be lying if I told you that. Um, so funny. Even I'm laughing at this. Yeah, no, I didn't play hockey and soccer, but I definitely, I definitely did stuff that I liked. Not a going out person, so didn't actually go out too much. But like, I definitely read a lot at home, watched TV. That's me. But yeah, still went out generally. It's good to go out sometimes. But yeah, but yeah, definitely. But the key here is though, don't leave sports. Don't like leave your co-curricular activities just because it's your HSC year. You're allowed to breathe and relax and actually enjoy this time. So definitely don't give up on your sports and your what do you call it, your hobbies outside.